Red light goes on. Westar from 1. September Born drawn out. They're off, they're racing. Great start, even line. Westar from the inside, gathering speed, driving through. One more too many had commenced very quickly, and so did Horcrux deeper out. Right up there, Sniper's Son soon after the start when they got going into stride, being closely followed then by Siren Assault. A length away then on the inside, Big Shots, and then further back behind those, then came Sir Dream a Lot. Exceed the Planet between those. Maddie Girl next of all, then further back, Bondi Bay, September Born taken hold of, dropped right out the last pair, Angels Impact and Street Band. They go by the 700 mark, and Horcrux leads the way from one more too many. Working around them, Siren Assault though doing it the hard way, 3 deep. Back on the inside is Westar. They're followed by, at the head of the others, coming towards the turn, Sniper's Son, who's right behind those at the top of the home straight, followed by Sir Dream a Lot, and September Born swings to the outside of Maddie Girl. Horcrux the leader. Westar now draws on equal terms. Westar are now on the outside, Siren Assault, but it's Westar. Here's September Born charging home. Westar's the leader. September Born keeps coming. So does the post. They'll go to it. Won't be much in it. Westar's got home to score. A narrow victory in the Belgravia from the fast finishing September Born. Now in between horses, flashing through Exceed the Planet, Sir Dream a Lot, Street Band there, and right behind them Horcrux. They were followed by Siren Assault. At the head of the others then, over on the inside, pulling up Big Shots back there in the field. Also back there is Sniper's Son, and they were followed further back by Bondi Bay. Angels Impact is next in, and one more too many is amongst the last to pull up. We wait for the numbers here after the running of the Belgravia. It's Westar, ridden by Chris Parnham though, staving off the fast finishing run of September Born. Came with a monster finishing run. Running out of time though. And 12 Exceed the Planet at 150 to 1. Running on into third place. Fourth is 9 Horcrux. And a short neck, the official winning margin. A short neck 3/4 in a time of 110.38. 35.09. And it is Westar for trainer Simon Miller, which takes out the Belgravia Stakes. Simon's had a very good run in it as well. He won this with Kai Perinya. Also won it 2 years ago with Amelia's Jewel. He wins it with Westar this afternoon. For Dave Harris, Jackie Chan, Mrs. S.J. Wright, Gary Wright, Stan Quinlivan, Fred Fairthorne, our butler Chris Chalwell, a playing God 3-year-old from Jester Derriere, and makes it win 3 from 5 with Chris Parnham in the saddle. Chris goes back to back, having won on Super Smink last year and Search and Rocks 3 years ago, building up a really good record here in the Belgravia Stakes. The run of September Born, eye-catching to say the least. Taken hold of at the start, dropped out. Bigger fish to fry in the spring for this playing God colt from Flirt and Hope, from the Neville Parnham stable. And the surprise packet of the race, Exceed the Planet, which cut right up on the rails and was darting through at any old odds. Hasn't this been a performance? Coming out of a 3-year-old maiden, unplaced last start, and running to that rating today. Phenomenal. One to follow by Exceedance out of Awesome Planet, trained by Sue Olive for Goldfront and ridden by Pat Carberry. 5, 10, 12 and 9. The numbers here after the Belgravia Stakes. So Dream a Lot, not far from them. And Siren Assault just unable to finish off after being there, as Chris Parnham returns after winning the race for the 3rd time. The last event's at 5:35. Upper limits will be ridden by Pat Carberry. 14 Planet Cash and 18 The Horseman are the 2 scratchings. Let's go downstairs now. Lockie Taylor is about to join us in the enclosure after the victory of Westar. Another winner of this race to come from the Simon Miller stable. Another winner ridden in the race by Chris Parnham, who brings back Westar as the connections gather. Let's take it downstairs once again. Here's Lockie.
Thanks, Darren. The McMahon Belgravia Stakes. It was the race we were all looking forward to, and didn't it deliver in spades? Westar for Simon Miller and Chris Parnham takes out the feature of the day. Simon Miller is just catching up with a few of his connections of his other two runners in Horcrux and Matty Girl, but Scott, that is some win from Westar, and what a clash it was between the two playing gods.
Exactly right, Lockie. It's a playing god Quinella here, and back in third was the maiden, Exceed the Planet, who will blow those novelties open, but Simon Miller's actually just about to get a bit of a social media review for these owners of Matty Girl. He's about to pull his phone out. So, Lockie, we'll head that way. Make sure you interrupt him, because Simon does love a chat.
He does, and he's just catching up with Stevie Parnham at the moment, and then we'll catch up with him for a word. In fact, Scott, we'll go the other way on the run. We'll catch up with winning jockey, Chris Parnham.
Correct. Let's do Chris Parnham first, and then we can make our way to Simon Miller afterwards. It's 5, 10, 12 and 9 there in the McMahon Belgravia Stakes of 2024. Chris Parnham joins us now. Westar, Chris, obviously over the 1,000 in the Max Simmons Classic. He got a long way back on a fairly slow tempo, but today you're able to use that barrier to your advantage.
Yeah, we were. From barrier 1, we were able to jump cleanly and hold a position. I was thinking about leading early, but there was just a little bit too much pressure heading into that headwind, so had to relinquish the lead, but he settled really well in behind them, and I was really pleased the way he finished off.
Top of the home straight, you came out and around heels, and it looks like you just took a stride or two to make sure that he was fully balanced before saying, let's go.
Yeah, he's still a big baby, and he's still working the game out, but I was really pleased the way he put him away today. He still wanted to lay in a touch, so he's got plenty of learning still to do, but he's done a super job.
Could you hear Bradley and September Born coming?
Heard something coming, and I had a feeling it might have been him, so I had to keep riding pretty hard to the line.
Goes to the 1,400 metres by all reports next start, the Feretha Stakes. How do you think he'll handle that hurdle?
Yeah, I don't think it'll bother him. Gone through the winter last prep, I was of the opinion he was a sprinter. Simon was of the opinion that he's a miler, so I guess in a few weeks' time we'll know who's right and wrong. But for me, the way he's settling and racing at the moment, certainly the 1,400 won't bother him.
If you went to the 1,400, would you toy with the idea of leading again with less pressure?
Yeah, look, that's an option, but he'd probably he'd have to lead on his own terms, I'd say. I don't think you'd fire him out and burn the candle at both ends, but if he led and controlled it, that wouldn't be a problem. Otherwise, you do something similar to what you saw today.
A bit different this. We're normally waiting for Simon Miller, but it's nice to switch around from time to time.
Yeah, he can have a chat, that bloke, so it's nice to get in before him.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
There's Chris Parnham, and here's Simon Miller. Simon, congratulations, yet another Belgravia Stakes. What did you make of the winner, Westar?
Yeah, I thought he was brave. Brave as in, you ride him conservative the other day and he lets rip with ridiculous sectionals, and today we used the gate and put him on top of the speed, 1,200. Yeah, it was an interesting race. I probably got to go back, to be honest, like and watch him and the other runners as well. I thought Matty Girl hit the bridle too hard, so maybe I got to increase the work on her or drop her back and I thought Horcrux was brave, but it just, barriers play a part, and we won today, and like, he's a high class horse. I think he's a miler. Chris thinks he's a sprinter, and off today you'd probably say he's a sprinter. But I think if you come back a few pairs, maybe he gets further, but honestly, I'll speak to Chris and we'll figure it out. But it's a great problem to have, isn't it? So, and then you look at September Born rattling late, and I was like, right, maybe Chris might say we're a sprinter, so we avoid it. But yeah, it's just, there's a really good bunch of 3-year-olds at the moment, so you got to be on your game.
At what point do you and Chris look to make that call? Because obviously the Feretha at 1,400 metres is in 2 weeks' time, but the Placid Arc worth 500,000 is in 3 weeks' time. When do you make that call with Chris?
I'm not sure. First and foremost, see how the horse pulls up, but I think his feedback here will be invaluable. So it's just a tricky one. Like, if you can come out a few pairs back, maybe he lets rip quicker, or maybe he's just effective at short course. So I don't know. Until you get it wrong, you don't really learn in regards to horses. So he's just so bulletproof. You can go forward or back, and we probably haven't figured out what his strengths and weaknesses are at the moment. But he's a weapon. He's a proper horse.
You haven't had too many playing gods walk through the barn at Ascot. I suspect you'll be trying to buy up as many as you can.
I was a bit of a slow learner. It took me a long time to cotton on, but I've only had 2, and they both won stakes races, so it makes it probably even more embarrassing. So I should have probably got into them earlier. But they're a hard horse to buy. It's like a bag of, the
box of favourites.
100%. There's a bit of everything going off in there. Like I looked at every playing god this year just on their own, and I couldn't have half of them, and yet they'll win races, so there's no rules.
Congratulations, Simon. Yet another Belgravia Stakes. We look forward to seeing where Westar goes next.
Thanks, Lockie.
There's Simon Miller combining with Chris Parnham and Westar. What a race, Scott. What a race. We can't see where these horses go next. Hopefully, we see them clash once again, but it's Westar taking out the McMahon Belgravia Stakes.